Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Preschool All-Stars podcast. I'm Bethany Johnson, and I'm joined today by Laura Spillman. How are you doing today, Laura?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Of
I'm so
course.
excited to be here.
Yeah, we are excited to hear your story. I always like to get a bit of a backstory so we could find out what was going on in your life, where you were before you decided that you wanted to start your own preschool.
Okay. So before I decided to start my own preschool, I worked in early childhood for over 20 years.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. So I've been a director of several centers. And I really enjoyed mentoring the teachers, but doing the administrative stuff wasn't really for me. So, which, I did it and it was great, but it was a lot of work. And I'm more of a hands-on person than behind the desk kind of person.
Right.
So I kind of left that and I went into the classroom and I never looked back. And it's been a wonderful experience. I've taught a lot of kids over the years and we've had some really good, amazing times together.
That's awesome. So what made you want to start your own preschool?
So I was working at an early childhood center for a very long time on the Gold Coast of Long Island.
Okay.
And management had changed and it became like very much of a very more like if you did something great, you weren't rewarded. If your class was shining, they brought you down to 12 steps. So it wasn't always a very healthy environment for the teachers. The children never noticed because we were very professional, the ladies that I had worked with. So at that point, after being there for 10 years, I said, you know what, it's just time for me to find something else. So with a heavy heart, I decided to leave and move on. And I ended up in a home, an at-home daycare, if you will, that was run like a day school. And they did have pre-K and kindergarten in there. But the expectations from the owner was just way too much. Her hours of operation were from like 6:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night. And it was way too much, way too much for anyone to handle. So when COVID had hit, she kind of brought back the hours a little bit. She had to go to a scattered staff. And then when we had come back, it was, oh, can you bleach down my walls? And then we just became kind of like her cleaning service instead of her actually getting someone in there to clean her home, which was I was not expecting it. And I just said, you know what? I need to take my life back because I can't be in someone's home from 6:30 to 7:30 at night. I mean, kudos to those women who do home daycares. It's a lot of work. I completely commend you, but it's just something that was not for me. And I learned that real quick.
Yeah.
So
you might as well do it in your own home. So you don't, so you get all the money instead of doing it for someone else working those long hours.
Exactly. I cannot complain. The pay was very well. She paid me teacher salary. I cannot complain. In that aspect, she was very good to us. But again, the long hours and everything that we had to do, it just was not for me. So when the pandemic hit, I said, I can do this for myself. Like, I don't need, like you said, go to someone else's home. Mm-hmm. However, I live in a co-op. So that does not work for me. That model does not work. So the other thing is I didn't want to open up a childcare center or a preschool in the middle of a pandemic. So what happened was a lot of the parents that I had taught over the years had come to me because they had siblings now and they were scrambling. A lot of these centers in the area were closing, not giving refunds to them. They were out a lot of money because basically on the Gold Coast of Long Island, you pay several months in advance, and some of the tuition can be anywhere between $1,400 a month to $1,800 a month. And some parents pay 5 and 6 months in advance and they weren't getting any money back. So they were asking me advice. What do we do? What do we do? And they said, regardless of the money, they took the loss and they pulled their child. A lot of the parents now have to work from home and they didn't know what to do. So building these relationships over the years, the parents had called me and they asked me if I could be their teacher online. And I did online for a little bit and that model just didn't work for me yet, I should say. Yet. And then I said, well, I can come to your house. And we kind of developed with the parents. I kind of developed my own pod school for preschool. So, and that's basically what we've been doing. And it's been a pleasure. The parents host it. They rotate in hosting the houses. It's myself. I have an assistant. I have a co-teacher that actually we kind of trade off. And it's just been an absolute pleasure working with the parents, rotating the homes. We had plans in place if someone was sick, what do we do if we come down with COVID? And the parents and us, we kind of worked together and we made that model.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
then I said, wow, look what I did with just a small group of parents. I said, I really should look into this. And that's what kind of led me to Preschool All Stars. And it's
Wow.
just been so much fun.
I love the idea of the pod. Tell me a little about that. That's a really cool idea. How many
So
families were involved?
I have a total of 5 families involved in this pod.
Okay.
Um, I have 3 kids that I see Monday through Friday, and it's in their home. So now being in the industry for 20 years, I have made a lot of, you know, professional relationships with New York State. So what I did was I reached out to Robin Beller, who's actually the head of New York State for Children of Family Office and Services.
Okay.
And I had asked her, Robin, if I go into someone else's home, do I need to be licensed? She said, if it's in their home, you can have up to 50 kids. It does not matter. It's not my home.
Wow.
They're hiring me as a service. They're not running a daycare. They're like providing a daily service. So being that you have somebody come out, she says it's unregulated. You can do it as much as you want. She says, I don't recommend 50, a
Right.
small amount that you can handle, no problem. You don't have to worry. So Monday through Friday from 9 to 4, we have school calendar. We basically, the kids are with me. And then when the school is closed, I was kind of taking it off, but then their siblings were like, we want to be with you. So, because they said they must be me being their teacher and stuff. So those kids now join us on the days that the school is closed, and we kind of rotate the families. And what's beautiful is now that the weather's getting nice, we'll go to one of my parents who is closer to the park. So we'll do our morning lessons and then we'll walk to the park for the rest of the day. And it's very laid back. It's just such a nice environment to be in. I mean, I commend the people who work in daycare. I commend the women who work at home and have their at-home daycares, but it's a lot of work. And, I'm no spring chicken anymore. So I got to think of alternatives and what works for
Yeah,
me and how I can show up for the children at the same time. So
absolutely.
that's,
Yeah,
yeah.
we talk so much about how the pandemic has given so many people an opportunity to start something brand new and think up like totally new ways to teach. And this is one of them. I mean, that's so awesome to use someone else's home and be able to rotate. And then it offers you so many different opportunities, and you don't have to go through licensing and all that stuff that you have to go through with the state, which is a pain
Yes.
in the butt. I'll tell you that. It's worth it, but it's a pain in the butt. So to be able to
Yeah.
do it out of other people's home, that's so great.
Mhm.
How much do
And
you
it,
charge for that?
how much do I charge? Right now I charge per child $14.95 a month.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice.
And then for the children who come when the school is closed, it's $98 a day for them.
Okay. And so how many kids do you have at one time on any given day?
Um, when the school is closed, we have 3 to 4 kids. I'm sorry, when school is open, we have 3 to 4 children in our pods. And
Okay.
then when school is closed, the maximum that will go up to is 8. So here in New York, where we are, for a while they said that try to keep the group sizes to 10, even if you're having gatherings. So that's something that the parents and I were very strict about, that we wouldn't have no more than 10 children. Well, no more than 10 people in the home with the parents included. So as long as one of them were out, it kind of worked.
Okay.
And then we kind of, when one would come home, we would kind of do the rest of the day out. So yeah.
And it was at different parents' house like every day?
No. So what happened was we have a little incentive for the parents to actually host. They'll get a little bit of a discount if they host it. But the parents, I have to be honest, they've been so happy with all of the work that the kids have been doing. They're so beyond ready for kindergarten that they don't even want the discount at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah. Yeah. So one parent, they're like, they could just stay here. And then another parent's like, no, come to our house. We'd like you here. So we kind of let them decide.
Mhm.
That's something that, they organically work out, and we're like, no problem. And we have a rolling classroom. I mean, at one point, one of the kids did get sick and we had to go. I said, no problem. I got backup supplies in my truck, and we just wheeled it over to the other house. And the parents were so nice, and they bought our little calendar, because we have like a portable trifold calendar that we just kind of take to the houses instead of hanging it up on the walls.
Mm,
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say you would just carry all of your materials in your car with you.
Basically, so like I have like a rolling suitcase, and I
Okay.
just unzip it each day. And most of the parents, if we're staying like for a couple months, they'll let us leave our things there, within reason. I mean, we can't overtake their home.
Yeah.
Um, so it works out really, really, really well. And we just kind of tuck it underneath their dining room table for the night, and then we take it home on the weekends. Yeah.
That's so cool. I love that. So
Yeah.
that was working out really well. And then you found joy in the All Stars?
So yeah, I said, if I did this organically with a few parents, I can't even imagine what I could do if I got into Preschool All Stars. So what happened was, I was so crazy in the beginning of the year. So when Joy had opened up Preschool All Stars, I missed it. And it was like, Preschool All Stars is closed. You can't come in now. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'll get it on the next round. And then I kept on seeing her book, and I'm like, you know what? I think I want to just do the preschool route. So, and just get out of the learning center realm, and just do preschool. And then I listened to a few of her podcasts. So I waited for it to open up. And as soon as it opened up, I got right in.
Mhm.
And it's an amazing group. I cannot say anything negative. I mean, it's just positive every single day. There's someone supporting somebody. Joy's coming up with new and inventive ideas for us. Her preschool hub is amazing. I just started cracking that egg open, so I'm
Mhm.
really excited. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us how the hub is going to help your business.
So basically, I have tried my best to develop websites, and I am not very tech savvy.
Yeah, that's hard.
Um,
It's hard to do.
it's hard to do.
That was
It's
like the
not very
worst part
easy.
of starting the business was the website. It
The
killed
website, yeah.
me. Yeah.
So Joy's simple system of having everything, the training, and you can literally open it up on your iPad or your iPhone, watch her do it on the videos while you're working on it with your laptop, and go stop it and do each step that she says. It's so nice. It's like having your own personal teacher right next to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So you got your website all set up. So what's the name of your,
Actually, I'm working on it now. It's not complete.
okay,
I'm
in
still
the middle
working
of
on
it.
it.
Okay. So what's the name of the business? What do you call it?
So right now, my pod school is called LNS, Micropod Consultants Inc. It's in a corporation,
Okay.
but right now, because of this whole adventure, just doing preschool, right now we're in the process of getting our LLC for Preschool Trailblazers.
Preschool Trailblazers. I like
Yes,
it. And
thank
is
you.
that going to be the same model where you have micropods, or are you opening something different for the preschool?
We're actually going to do micropods. We're going to try to open. I've been looking at real estate right now to open up our own. And also, we're going to be launching our online school
Yeah.
thanks to Preschool Stars.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So I didn't think that it was feasible to open up an online school, because in the beginning of the pandemic, it was kind of thrown in our laps to do this, right? So
Yeah.
it was like, I know how to operate an iPhone and an iPad. Okay, I can handle doing a Zoom meeting. I can handle doing a Google meeting, and I can handle getting, because I had one-on-one interaction with these children. But again, it was very difficult because you had many age groups locked into one group.
Yeah.
So it wasn't feasible. And I did my best, and I was very animated, and I kept them going. And the parents were like, okay. And they could see that their kids were getting burnt out after 5-6 minutes, because some were younger, some were older. And as much fun as it was to see the children and still interact during the pandemic, it was something that I felt was not good for children, for such young children in that model setting, because
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
It was the first time I was teaching online, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
we're going to get this done.
Everyone was just using these kids as guinea pigs because we've never had to do that before. So we all everyone
Right.
had to figure it out, and no one was trained on it. Like I was still teaching in the district when we had to do that, and for first grade, and we weren't trained on that at all, like
Yeah.
at all. So
No,
everyone was just kind of getting through.
just getting through and understanding it and making it shorter. And, you have one phone on the calendar, and then I had the iPad on me. And it was just because I don't have, split screen at
Right.
home. I'm not equipped for that kind of situation.
Yeah.
So it was just a very difficult situation on our part, plus trying to package everything up, driving to their houses, dropping off education bags. Who
Yeah.
knew about shipping? I didn't know that. Now I know.
Right. Right. So
Yeah.
now you've figured out, you're using Joy's model with like preschool pals and teaching time? Is that how you're doing it?
We are going to be using teaching time and preschool house
Okay.
for the online school. Yes, that's
Perfect.
exactly how we're going to do it, because it's just a clean cut model. It's easy for them. It's, instruction with the teacher. It's fun. They get to see their little friends, and then they can do their own little interaction, which is great.
Yep. It's not too
It's
long.
very right.
Engage.
It's very
Yeah.
streamlined, very clear. And I think the parents are going to enjoy it.
Yeah, totally. So how are you going to do the online preschool and your preschool pods? When when are you going to do the online if you're teaching preschool pods?
I will actually have a team. My
Perfect.
current team now. Yeah, my
Okay.
current team now, which I didn't think that I could handle a team. And that's something that I definitely learned by listening to Joy. Like, you have to give up control. You have to know when to pull back and trust the people that you hire to do so. And sometimes that's a really hard thing to do, but you hired them for a reason, and you chose them for a reason. So trust that reason.
Man,
And
I
that's what
tell
I've
you,
learned from Joy.
that has been the hardest thing for me recently. I just hired my first employee when I went on maternity leave, and that's been the hardest thing about starting the whole business. I taught for the entirety of my pregnancy by myself, and I started the business from scratch. It was going great, and hiring someone and putting a teacher in the classroom and me stepping back has been the hardest part of the entire thing, which I was not anticipating at all.
Yeah.
Being class is harder than I thought. It
Yes,
is.
it really is.
Just letting them have control. And I know Joy says it, and I try to do just step back, delegate. And it's so hard. I don't know why it's so hard.
Well, the one thing that I've definitely learned is that once you empower your staff and you give them the proper tools, they're going to flourish. And now that I know that I have, Joy's tools that I can show them and I can use with them, I think that it's going to give them the confidence to where I was lacking as a leader, to make sure that their needs were met. So she makes everything just so streamlined. It's a beautiful system, and it's just a pleasure to work with.
Yeah. So
And
how
then
many
if you
people do
don't
you
know
have
anything, you just go on to the support group, and we all support each other, which is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. How many people do you have on your team now then?
I have 4 with my husband.
Wow, that's awesome. And how
He's
many
kind of
people
the IT behind the,
I get that.
yeah,
My husband is my IT guy too. And
yeah.
our facilities manager and all the random things that I can't do. So how many people are teaching online, and then how many people are teaching in person in the pod with you?
So in person in the pod, I have me and my assistant, and then teaching online is going to be, I'm going to do Saturday classes, and my assistant, she's actually a Spanish teacher. So she's actually going to be doing Spanish classes. So that's where we are right now for September. And then I'm going to try to hire someone else for September, because I would really like to do a full-time schedule for September.
Awesome. Awesome. And how did you find these employees? Were they someone you already knew, or did you put out ads?
I did not put out ads, honestly. These, again, I've been in this industry for 20 years.
Yeah.
So
Get a lot of connections.
yeah.
Mhm.
So the one teacher that I did work with, Miss Sandra, she is amazing. She and I taught together at a day school for several years. And when we were in this midst of putting this whole entire pod school together, I, called her up and I said, "Do you want to jump on board with me for this?" And she was like, "Are you serious?" I'm like, I'm serious as a heart attack. Like it's happening right now. I got to find someone. And you're the first person that came to my mind because I know if I'm on death's door, you are going to be there and show up for those kids. And that's the kind of person I need.
Absolutely.
And she jumped right on it with me. So we took the leap of faith and we just went, and it's just been beautiful ever since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Great to have someone you trust so much coming into it, and
Yes.
not just hiring someone random. That's,
Hmm.
so how much do
And
they charge you for your online class?
I'm actually following Joy's model for the online class. So it's going to be 47 a month.
Okay. And did you use the founding family script, or did you already have a bunch of families who were looking for you to do this? So you didn't do that. How'd you get them signed up?
I did not put out the family, finding family scripts.
Yeah.
Sorry. Actually, these are from doing this pod group. It's just referrals. The parents are just literally passing out my digital business card, which I made on Canva, which I didn't even know was a thing. But thanks to Joy, I know it's a thing now.
Yeah. Little business
Yeah.
card. I gotta do that. Ooh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Did you send it
So
through?
I just, yeah. So I just, on the group chat, the parents, I asked them, if you know anybody, and they just said, of course, we know tons of people. And so they've just been sending it out. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'm totally gonna make one of those. Gotta go find that
Yeah.
video. Well, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So what are your next steps? What are your next plans? What would you like to grow this into?
Well, my next step is, so Joy not only helped me give the confidence for September and get my model set up for September, but right now, so not only am I doing All Stars Preschool side by side, I actually teamed up with Tribe, thanks to Joy. She had recommended it. I don't even know how, I don't even know, but
Nessa from Pre-K Page, is that her thing? The teaching?
for which, no, no, not teaching Tribe, the
Oh,
pre-K, the Tribe itself,
okay. What's that?
which Stu, his name is Stu
Oh,
McLean, I think his
yeah, yeah.
name was Stu.
Okay.
So the other thing is that from, this whole preschool pod model, the online school, and then the in-person preschool, the next step is to kind of help. I enjoy so much mentoring other teachers. So we're going to take preschool trailblazers and start a whole entire, mentoring program for teachers out there that want to start, really taking ownership of their classrooms, because it doesn't matter if you're working in a daycare in a preschool or a home daycare as a preschool, or, even some of the ladies in Preschool All Stars, it really doesn't matter. I just want us to come together, collaborate, and help, make our classrooms the best we can.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So you got so much going on. You got the pods and you got the online class, and now you're starting a mentorship program. And then you're also wanting to do a preschool by itself, like in a
Yes.
center type thing.
Yeah, in a center type thing. Yeah.
Wow, that's a whole
That will
lot.
operate on school calendar because yeah,
And they're
it's
going to
got
be
to
like
be school
half day
calendar.
classes.
Half day classes. Yes. Well, it's going to be less than half. So I'm New York State. So the most that the children can be in our program without being licensed for as a daycare is 2 hours and like 45 minutes, 40 minutes, something to that effect. So it'll be
Like
about that length.
our classes, kind of.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Wow,
it'll be morning and then afternoon.
that's so cool. And all of this has happened just in the past year, like a year ago, right? Was it?
Yeah, about a year ago. And then honestly, I just kind of thought that at the end of this year, like, oh, okay, this will be it. Like, this was fun, like, oh, too bad I can't do some more. And then when I saw that Joy was opening Preschool All Stars again, I said, oh my gosh, imagine what I could do with her knowledge.
Yeah, totally. That is so
Yeah.
cool. So you got so much going on now, all within a year. That is so awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you think, what would the parents of your students say? Why would they choose you if we asked them, why are you choosing her program? What do you think they would say?
I really think that they would say that the amount of effort that we put into their children each day surpasses any program that they've ever had. So our children are entering kindergarten in September, and in the height of a pandemic, they are beyond ready for kindergarten. Our kids are reading, they're doing kindergarten level skills of adding, subtracting, and that kind of organically happens only because of the teaching model that I use. I do developmental appropriate practices. I've always had for 20 years. So we just kind of started at the beginning and we just kept on stepping up, stepping it up. And when they were asking me, how do I spell? What does this say? How do I read? They would ask me questions like, what's 100 plus 100? They're like, that's 200, right? So we did 100 days of school. So, and we weren't really counting to 100. We just know like, okay, we're almost going to be 100 days smarter, but they just started counting on their own and it just kind of all happened organically. So I think that the parents would say that they can't believe what their child has learned. And, we're one of the top programs to get into.
Yes, I love it. That's so awesome. And what would you say to any women who are thinking about joining the All Stars or thinking about starting their own kind of business, even if it's not just a preschool? You have this whole new model that we don't hear about very often that you came up with. Someone who's thinking about starting something new, something that they're not even sure, they could turn into something. What would you say to them to give them a word of encouragement?
I would say take the leap of faith, because the thing is, if you keep on sitting back and you say, oh, I would love to open up a preschool or a daycare one day, or open up a pod school, or just have a few kids that I can teach every day, and you keep on saying that every day for a year, you're going to be in the same position every year and day after day, and your career will go nowhere. So I say, take the leap of faith and just do it. Rip off the Band-Aid. I mean, honestly, I left a job that I had job security, I had a pension, I had health benefits, I had everything that you can imagine, paid time off, school calendar. And I just said, you know what? I let it all go because it wasn't fulfilling my needs and it was burning me out. And I couldn't show up for my class. So my thing is, if you're in a position right now in your childcare center, learning center, daycare, preschool, whatever it is that you're doing, or maybe you're stuck behind a desk and this is not what you want to do. Maybe, you're a cashier at a retail center and you're not getting paid much. Maybe you work in a fast food place and it's not your dream. I say that you need to just really take a step back, inventory your life, and just take the leap of faith. And if you're, all you need is driving directions to get somewhere, right? So sign up for Preschool All Stars. They're your driving directions. You can't go wrong. As long as you put in the work and you're consistent, the sky's the limit. There's no reason why anybody can't do this. I mean, as long as you have patience, you're good with kids, and you're able to be a self-starter, absolutely, you can do this.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love to hear how quickly people's lives are changing for the better. It's so awesome. I mean, just in a year, so many people, I've interviewed so many all-stars, and it's so cool to hear what has happened in their lives just in the past year, where, so this was the worst year of so many people's lives, and the all-stars have been able to help each other, pick each other up, and make it one of the best years,
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's really awesome to hear. And thank you so much for sharing your story with us. It's inspiring. And I'm so excited to hear all the other new things that you're going to come up with, because I know you will.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you for joining us. It was a pleasure. You have a great night.
You as well. Thanks, Bethany.
If you'd like to have a success story just like that one, I invite you to join our Preschool All-Stars. It's my exclusive membership community where you'll get mentorship from me with weekly Q&A lives, support and guidance, and friendship from hundreds of women on the exact same journey as you, starting, running, and growing their preschools, and my exclusive access to Preschool University, every training and done-for-you file that you'll need for every milestone on your journey to help you start, run, and grow your preschool. We've all been there, and we've got the exact same steps that you need to go through, but we do it all very quickly so that you don't have to waste time or money doing the wrong things at the wrong time. We'd love for you to join our Preschool All-Stars membership. Just go to preschoolallstars.com or click the link in the description to immediately jump into Preschool All-Stars. Again, go to preschoolallstars.com and we'll see you there.